Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? You should check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Pictorum Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. Instead of a boring old tie, get him a historic baseball photo taken by Henry High Sandom at the historic Polo Grounds Stadium in New York City during the 1894 Temple Cup. Or, if he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL poster. These are so good looking that you'll be amazed how they turn out. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hi, folks. Welcome to Pro Football in the 1970s. I'm your host, Joe Zagorski. We're going to be talking about running to win a Super Bowl. Now, prior to 1978, pro football was regarded as primarily a running game. The objective of the forward pass was still not as refined and as perfected as it would become in the years after 1978. In 1972, with the advent of the hash marks moving closer to the middle of the field, the largest number of runners to ever eclipse 1,000 yards rushing in a season was 10, and that would make NFL history in 72. But to close out the 1971 season, one team used the Super Bowl to show off their backfield, their avenue of setting records and of the ultimate success, a victory in the ultimate game of the year. The 1971 Dallas Cowboys had won 9 straight games going into their Super Bowl VI matchup with the youthful and exuberant Miami Dolphins at Tulane Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, the Dolphins were a more emotional team than the Cowboys, but somehow they found themselves playing for the World Championship in head coach Don Shula's second year at the helm down there in South Florida. A Dallas head coach Tom Landry had tasted many defeats over the previous handful of years as his team got closer and closer to an NFL title. Both the Cowboys and the Dolphins did have a unique similarity in those days, though. Both geared their offense into stressing the running game. Both teams had a trio of great running backs. Dallas had Dwayne Thomas, Calvin Hill, and Walt Garrison in their backfield, and carrying the ball for Miami was Larry Zonka, Jim Kick, and Mercury Morris. Each of these 6 players were adept at their own set of talents. For example, Garrison was a pounding fullback, Thomas was a smooth and graceful tailback, and Hill was a combination of the two. Zonka was probably the best fullback in pro football, Kick was a dependable short yardage runner and pass receiver, and Morris was one of the most fluid and shifty runners in the game. So it would come as no surprise that in Super Bowl VI, it would showcase the running abilities of both of these teams. Now, neither had won a world championship before, so this game would produce a new league champion. And both the winner and the loser would prove that throwing the ball would not be used anywhere near as much as running the ball would be in this Super Bowl. Miami quarterback Bob Griese would throw for only 134 yards on 12 completions in 23 attempts. Griese also threw an interception in Super Bowl VI. The Dallas signal caller Roger Staubach completed 12 passes as well, but he only attempted 19 throws. His 119 yards passing and his 2 touchdown tosses enabled him to garner the game's Most Valuable Player award. Now, such meager passing statistics were an indication enough that both teams were going to be running with the ball on practically down after down. After all, it was the both teams' strength. Unfortunately for the Dolphins, the Dallas Doomsday defense played one of its best games against Zonka, Kick, and Morris. That trio would be held to a grand total of just 80 yards rushing all game long. In contrast, Thomas, Hill, and Garrison would fare much better for Dallas. Coach Tom Landry of the Cowboys noticed that the Miami defense was so energetic and their pursuit of opposing running backs was very pronounced. So Landry instilled in his runners the use of cutback running in Super Bowl VI. The Dallas running backs would take a handoff from Staubach, who was actually a runner in his own right, run a step or two in one direction, then sharply stop on a dime and immediately run in the opposite direction. When the opposing defenders noticed this, it was too late, for the Cowboys' offensive linemen were bearing down on them and pushing them in their initial direction, which was away from where the ball carrier was eventually going. It was a foolproof strategy against the overreactive Dolphins' no-name defense. Coach Landry also included a couple of reverse runs from wide receiver Bob Hayes and from tight end Mike Ditka, both of which gained positive first down yardage. Running with the ball gave Dallas a new Super Bowl rushing record as a team, a total of 252 yards. The Cowboys averaged 5.3 yards per rush on 48 carries against Miami, and they accounted for 23 first downs, 15 of which came on the ground. The Dolphins, in comparison, could only earn 10 first downs in Super Bowl VI. Thomas would go on to lead all rushers in the game with 95 yards and a touchdown. Garrison would add an additional 74 yards rushing, and Hill contributed an additional 25 yards. 4 other Dallas players carried the ball at least once for positive yardage. As a result, the Cowboys' success on the polyturf at Old Tulane Stadium would point the way to their very first World Championship, a 24-3 victory over Miami in Super Bowl VI. And it was a victory brought on about by keeping the ball on the ground. Now, Roger Staubach did lead the NFL in passing in 1971, so it wasn't just to try and cover up any deficiencies that he might have had throwing the ball. They were just too strong of a team to run the ball. So thanks a lot for enjoying this program, Pro Football in the 1970s.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
At the Sports History Network, we're all about sports yesteryear, and so we're so pleased to introduce you to Row One, an online memorabilia gallery and shop that brings your sports history to life anywhere. The Row One gallery includes over 5,200 gorgeously reproduced prints of team posters, game program covers, game tickets, advertisements, and more in baseball, pro and college football, pro and college basketball, and more. And any gallery item may be printed in a variety of sizes on wood, metal, canvas, acrylic, or poster paper. And in Row One shop, check out the thousands more of unique items with the retro and historical designs dating back to 1876, including t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, phone cases, mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com, ROW1, for access to the full Row One catalog and for gallery prints and gift items, plus get a 15% discount off all prints on the Row One Pictorium Gallery with coupon code SHN15. Follow the link on the show notes.
We here at the Sports History Network proudly partner with 26 podcasts, all revolving around the history of sports. But did you know that many of our hosts were sports history authors way before they started their shows? It's true. We've got Joe Ziemba, host of When Football Was Football, Joe Zagorski, host of Pro Football in the 1970s, Mark Morthier, host of Yesterday Sports, Tommy Phillips, host of Lombardi Memories, and Scott Adamson, co-host of From the 55-Yard Line. All these authors have many books for you to choose from. To check them out, go to our website at sportshistorynetwork.com/sportshistorybooks. Pick up your copy today. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.